What is up everyone and welcome back to another video. So as you probably know, Chapter 4 Season 3 is finally out in Fortnite and it brings an absolute ton of changes. And in today's video, I'm going to be showing you guys exactly how to adapt to all the changes in Fortnite Chapter 4 Season 3 and just how to improve in general super fast. If you go on to enjoy this video, be sure to drop a like on it. If you want to see more tips and tricks content just like this in the future, then be sure to hit that subscribe button. And of course, if you want to show some extra support, it's always appreciated if you could use code Teckoh. It's completely free for you and it seriously does help me out a bunch. As always, a huge thank you to everyone who uses it. And before we get into today's video, I want to take a minute to talk about our sponsor, which is Loot Boy. Loot Boy is a free app with over 15 million users where you can collect coins to redeem card packs for all sorts of games. Collect diamonds to open packs or even use cash for them and have the chance to get V-Bucks, in-game items, game keys, and so much more. Not only that, but from the day this video is posted until June 11th, the Battle Royale Premium Pack 10 bundle actually guarantees V-Bucks as well, so there's a special deal for you guys watching early on. As you can see, I opened up a pack here and won 1,000 V-Bucks right away, which is pretty darn good. And you can see me redeeming it on my account as well. Everything's completely legit. And lastly, guys, to celebrate this partnership, Loot Boy is actually hosting a huge giveaway of 13,500 V-Bucks for one of my viewers. All you got to do is register for a Loot Boy account, include your username and a comment, and you'll be entered for a chance to win. And when you join, you'll be given a loot pack with diamonds, loot coins, and more to get you started simply by using my community code, which is Teckoh. So with all that in mind, be sure to sign up at Loot Boy with the link near the top of the description or in the pinned comment and get started today. And thank you once again, Loot Boy, for sponsoring today's video. So starting out this video, the first topic I want to cover is the best loadouts and items in Chapter 4 Season 3. Now, obviously, we've had some major changes to the loot pool. We no longer have a lot of the same mythic items, and we've actually had a lot of items removed from the game, especially when it comes to like healing items and whatnot. No more ODM gear, no more Star Wars stuff, and overall, we're definitely going to be looking at a different meta compared to last season. So starting off, I want to talk about the shotgun meta. The shotgun meta is going to be fairly normal this season. The Havoc and Maven are both still in the game with no mythic variant, so they did actually get rid of the mythic Havoc. But the big change here was the addition of the drum shotgun, which does actually have a mythic variant. I believe this mythic is only available on the loot island, but I may be proven wrong later on. In my opinion, the lower ranked drum shotguns still feel pretty weak unless you're a super up close player. Unless you really like to get up in someone's face and kill them right away, then I really don't see that being the best shotgun. But I will say that the mythic drum shotgun does pack a punch. I'd say for the regular rarities, you probably just want to stick with a Havoc pump or maybe a Maven if you prefer it. But definitely consider trying out that mythic drum shotgun if you get it, because it is actually pretty accurate with decent damage. And if you hit 2 really good shots, you can pretty much end someone's game right there. So once again, in regular rarities, we're probably going to lean towards the Havoc, but there is something to be said about that mythic drum shotgun. Moving on to the AR and SMG meta. When it comes to the AR and SMG meta, we do have quite a few options this season. For ARs, first of all, we have the Red Eye, we have the Havoc, and we have the new thermal DMR and Flapjack gun. I don't know where they came up with the idea of this Flapjack gun, but it actually is pretty good. Honestly, if you do carry an AR, my two favorites right now are going to be the Red Eye and the Flapjack LMG. However, the shotgun SMG meta still is a very valid option, which means just carrying an SMG and a shotgun. I'd say it's a little less powerful than last season since we don't have the twin mag anymore, but the current SMGs are going to be the combat SMG and the regular SMG. And personally, right now, I'm leaning more in the combat SMG direction, but it's going to come down to preference, of course. Really, I could see it either way, but I'm personally going to stick to the combat, I think. Of course, I might change my mind later on. Moving on to our next one, though, and I want to talk about the Boomerang. One of the biggest item additions and one that was super hyped up before the season came out is the Kinetic Boomerang. And this is going to spawn either on specific stands in the jungle biome, kind of like the Kinetic Blade did, or it'll spawn as floor loot. You can throw them at someone, which deals 60 damage to players and 100 to builds, and you can click it to detonate and bring it back to you. I believe it has 2 charges, which refresh every 20 seconds. Now, since this video is being made on day 1, I'm not really sure how this is going to fit into the meta or whether it's going to be more of a competitive item or a just for fun item. But at the moment, it's a 50-50 shot as to whether you would really want to carry it. It seems like a fun item, but it just doesn't seem that powerful in the types of fights you would face in competitive. Once again, could totally change. That's just my day 1 opinion. As the season goes on, we're definitely going to figure out whether this is actually worth carrying in a competitive situation, but for now, I definitely recommend you give it a shot. Now, getting into the last section of the loadouts and items category, and I want to talk about mobility and healing really quick. Don't worry, this is going to be quick because there's really not much to talk about. Mobility is very dry this season. Pretty much all of our big mobility items from last season got vaulted. This means you're really going to want to focus on learning where all the map-based mobility is at and kind of just deal with the fact that you're not going to be able to move around crazy fast like you did last season. Healing did endure a similar fate with chug splashes and shield kegs being vaulted. At this point, the bulk of your healing is just going to be minis, big pot, slurp juice, and other white heals, but they may add more throughout the season depending on how it plays out. I've really struggled to believe that they're going to remove the shield kegs and chug splashes and just not replace them with anything, so I guess we'll see throughout the season. So overall, the mobility and healing is going to be pretty dry this season. Getting into our next section though, and I want to talk about learning the map. As with any new Fortnite season, learning the various map changes is going to be a huge part of improving fast. Now, with the Fortnite Chapter 4 Season 3 map, we're going to have 3 new POIs. As I'm sure you already know, these are Rumble Ruins, Creaky Compound, and Shady Stilts. In terms of how this is actually going to play into the meta, Rumble Ruins and Creaky Compound do have the advantage of being right around the center of the map, which means they're pretty much always going to be in the first couple of zones, so a quiet location, which might make it a more viable spot for tournaments and competitive. But due to its central location on the map, I can definitely see this jungle biome being a big area for fighting. As with any other season, early in the season, you're going to want to prioritize landing in the new areas and learning the ins and outs of them. I do think that for competitive, this map change is going to be a huge upgrade. The map now has 14 POIs and a pretty good amount of unnamed spots, compared to 9 if I recall correctly in the first season. This is definitely a welcome change. So really guys, there's not too much to say here. Spend some time running through the new locations, figure out how you feel about each of them, and that should help you a ton whether one of them becomes your drop spot or if you're just getting familiar with them. That way when you rotate into them during your games, you know the ins and outs of them. Moving into our last section of today's video though, and I want to talk about optimizing your practice. These are just going to be some general tips I have for you guys regarding improving at Fortnite Chapter 4 Season 3. Now first off, this loot pool is fairly unique, so I do recommend you really focus on getting comfortable with the new items. Spend some time using the new or unvaulted items like the combat SMG, the Flapjack LMG, the drum shotgun, etc. You can do this in creative or by picking them up in game, but either way it's really important to get comfortable and get some reps in with this stuff. This will help you to figure out if you prefer these items, and it'll help you be ready if you do end up stuck with them. Chances are once in a while you're going to be stuck with some rough loot and you want to be prepared for that. As with any other season, one of the best ways to adapt and get good fast is to learn from pros. I recommend you pull up a video or stream from a pro and spend some time watching to see how they play. Since pros are usually the first ones to adapt to any change in the game, chances are you can find some really good tricks from them, whether it's a meta trick, a certain technique, strategy, or mechanical, or something else. So overall, especially early in the season, definitely spend some time watching pros. And if your goal is to improve, I definitely recommend you spend the bulk of your time either in ranked matches, tournaments, or some form of creative practice. Now I know ranked isn't exactly the most skillful mode, but it's definitely better than public matches, and it's definitely better now than it was last season. Now that they've gotten rid of all the Star Wars stuff, it's definitely a little bit more reasonable. And hopefully they'll make some adjustments involving Siphon and other mechanics in the future to balance things out. I know that's been a big topic in the community. Everyone wants Siphon back, and trust me, I do too. And all we can really do right now is hope that they fix it. Of course, tournaments are always going to be good practice. I definitely recommend you play as many of those as possible. And creative is going to be super useful if you use the correct practice methods. These will be realistic fighting maps, mechanics maps, and other stuff like that. And of course, throughout the season, I'll be posting more videos about the best creative maps and the best warm-up routines and all sort of stuff like that. So you'll end up with plenty of ideas as to how you can actually structure your practice, the best maps to use, and all that stuff. So definitely stay tuned for that. But with all that said, guys, that's going to wrap it up for today's video on how to improve super fast in Fortnite Chapter 4 Season 3. Overall, personally, I'm enjoying this season so far. Definitely let me know down in the comments how you guys are feeling about it. And if you found this video helpful, then be sure to drop a like on it. Subscribe if you're new to the channel and you want to see more. And of course, if you want to show some extra support, it's always appreciated if you could use code Teckoh in the item shop, especially early in the season when you're buying the battle pass and whatnot. It really does help out a ton. And even if you're not buying anything, just using the code on its own is definitely helpful. As always, a huge thank you to everyone who uses my code. And finally, guys, since it's the new season, definitely let me know down in the comments what you guys actually want to see on the channel. I've got a ton of videos planned out already, and I'm going to keep grinding them out, so let me know if you want to see anything new. And with all that said, guys, thank you all for watching this video, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye for now.